All right, let's go ahead and jump right into chapter 8 here. Um, so I'm same hat, same hoodie, same session. I'm doing all three of these together on these chapters. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. This one's important. Okay, man in the car paradox. This is huge, and here you go. Okay, this chapter explains that people don't admire you for what you own; they admire the idea of themselves owning those things. So the paradox is, we think, you think expensive stuff makes people respect you, but people don't think about when they see your stuff, they imagine themselves having it, having it. So it's not like I'm like looking at you like in your Ferrari, like, dang, that guy's awesome. I have total respect for this guy. Now, it may intrigue me how he was able to afford a Ferrari, sure, but I'm imagining me owning that Ferrari. And what am I going to ask? Hey, what do you do for a living? Hey, how did you afford this Ferrari? Those are the kind of questions I'm going to ask. I'm not going to be like, wow, what kind of man are you? What kind of person are you? Wow, you're amazing. It's it. If you think about it, right? Okay, so you think expensive stuff makes people respect you, but people don't think about you when they see your stuff. They imagine themselves having it. So the pursuit of status through money is mostly an illusion, 100%. Okay, so some key things here, key themes. People aren't admiring you, they're admiring themselves when they look at your stuff. All right. So if you see someone driving a nice car, they aren't thinking, wow, that person's amazing. They're thinking, if I had that car, people would admire me. It's a selfish thought. All right. Chasing status is a trap. It really is, right? Luxury as a way to earn respect doesn't work. People don't think about you as much as you think they do. True respect comes from behavior, not possessions. Kindness, humility, generosity, discipline. These create a real legacy. A car doesn't. All right. If you think about a person, right, who's driving a fancy car, and then one day you see them pull up in like an old beat up, Toyota Camry, and you're just like, wow, what happened? And they're like, well, it got repoed, you know, um, right? Like it just changes everything. It changes the way, that whole situation looks, right? But let's take that same person, right? And let's say that a person's driving, the very expensive car, and they're rude and they're nasty and they're really short and they're like, just grumpy and judgmental. And you're just like, ugh, like you have no respect for that person. Okay. But the person who lost their Ferrari, right? Same, like the person pulls up right behind them, and they're the ones who lost. They had their Ferrari taken away, right? And they're driving this beat up Camry, but they're kind and they're full of humility and they're generous. They tip the valet person even though they're driving this raggedy car, and you see discipline in them. You know, that's what's going to create a real legacy. You're going to be like, well, I have more respect for that person than I do the fancy driver, right? The person driving the fancy car. So don't get it twisted, right? And same with day trading, right? There's a lot of like ego stuff that goes on in trading, and this is something I check myself on, right? Because I do make myself public, and I make a lot of my success public. But that's why I don't just like, post everything like wide out in the open. There's a reason. It's because I don't want to become like egotistical in this business. And I know I have a day trading ego. I already know this is something I've struggled with in the past. That's why I don't really post wins, a lot. And especially like, well, look at me. I just slam dunked a 10 contract trade. Look at me. It's like, I know immediately I'm going to have an ego trip after that. And I don't like that. It's just something I check myself for. It's like in real life, I'm pretty humble. I'm pretty chill. When it comes to day trading, there's an ego. So I keep that sucker in check, man. I'm like, because that ego costs me money, right? Because then I feel like I have to live up to this ego. I have to live up to this, like, watch me make money every single day kind of stuff. Nah, man, I don't do that. And there, like I said, it's a selfish reason why, but it costs me money when I allow my ego to get fed. Okay. So don't get it twisted. Stay focused. Be kind. Have humility, generosity, show some discipline. Okay, that's what I'm trying to build my day trading legacy on, right? Is those kinds of things. Being open, yes. Being honest about my mistakes, yes. Being honest about my struggles in day trading, absolutely, right? But I am not here to flex. 100%. Okay, buying stuff doesn't fix insecurity. People often use possessions to patch inner wounds, but the admiration never comes. Okay, it's very important. Let me get a water. Probably won't edit that out. Probably stay right in. Okay, so core quotes. Let's go over this. No one is impressed with your possessions as much as you are. So if you buy it, better like it. People tend to want wealth not to be wealthy, but to feel wealthy. Okay, so someone like that might buy a nice car and go into debt over it, right? Because it makes them feel good, makes them feel wealthy, right? But I would rather have a slightly older or junkier car. Maybe that's not as nice, right? It has a wrecked title or something, but it's paid off. That's just me. I would rather it be paid off. Okay. All right. You might want to think a fancy car, or you might want to think you want a fancy car, but what you really want is respect. And it rarely works in that way anyway, right? So buying the fancy car is not going to get you the respect. The respect is just being open, honest, having integrity, and all of that we talked about. Okay. So some key takes. See, this book is so good. It is so good. I know it's not like, Trading in the Zone. I know it's not like Jared Tendler's, mental game of trading. I know it's not this like anti-gambling book that's like so directly impacts but the mindset here is just, it's dead on. Okay, people care less about your stuff than you think. Luxury purchases rarely fulfill the emotional need you expect, or it's very short term. Okay, if I had bought that truck back in the day, $70,000, had a Viper engine, dude, I would have felt like a baller. But that thing would have sucked me dry, man. It would have fed an ego. I wouldn't have been able to uphold it. It just wasn't a good thing. I'm glad I didn't get it. Okay. Luxury purchases rarely fulfill the emotional needs. I ended up buying a little pickup truck, just a little one. It was like $200 payment instead of $780. Okay. All right. Respect comes from who you are, not what you own. 100%. Okay. People are judging you for what you own. There you go. All right. Financial freedom matters more than the financial signaling. 100%. Okay. All right. So let's go over some reflection questions here. Have you ever bought something expecting admiration, and did it work? That's an interesting question. What possessions do you think, what possessions do you link to your status in your mind, right? Your house, your car, your vehicle, your watch. A lot of people have like expensive necklaces and jewelry and watches, and how much are you putting into that? How much of that do you really think plays into your status? And if you think that's your status, kind of might be missing the point, right? Okay. So how would your financial choices change if you removed the desire for external validation? I just drove a basic pickup truck, a little silver pickup truck, nothing special, bench seat, plain Jane, right? I was literally going to sign a truck that everybody would have been jealous of, would have like been oohing and ahhing over. I would have cruised the town, loud pipes, arm hanging out. It would have been cool. I would have dumped some subwoofers in it. Just saying, right? Would cost me 3 times as much. All right. So are you chasing respect through money instead of character? I think that's huge, right? So when you are day trading, like especially for someone who's public, are you doing it for the status, or are you doing it like with character in mind, right? You gotta, are you chasing the respect through money, or are you chasing character? Okay, for me, I'm chasing that character. I want to be open and honest about my day trading. I want to be transparent, and I want to lead people to success. And I don't want to get like egotistical. And it's not about like the money. Yes, of course, I'm doing this to make money. Okay, but I'm not doing it. I'm not chasing respect through money. That's why I don't flash my money around, right? I want you guys to see that I'm a legit trader, that, you know, I follow a plan, that the plan is something that is actionable, that you can learn from, that you can watch my videos and become a better day trader. That's the legacy I'm trying to put out here on YouTube, right? That's what I'm chasing. It's not like flashing money. I mean, I could do it. I could do it. I could easily go get some accounts together and I could start putting out some public stuff that's like, holy cow, this guy's killed. You know, you can totally do that. Okay. But that's not what I'm shooting for. Okay. So moving on. All right. Don't let buying status items push you into needing bigger trading profits. When you start building a lifestyle around the fact that you are, the more financial pressure you put on your day trading, the more likely you're going to fail. Okay. So find things that relieve that pressure so that way you can release your mind of that pressure and you can actually become a way better day trader. 100%. I'm telling you, go get a side hustle that you can take a little from your side hustle and you can put that into your day trading. It'll flip it on its head. That's one of those things that like really helps people break free. Okay. When your day trading is putting bread on your table, it's a big deal. And I know a lot of people are going to probably ding me for that, but I'm just letting you know, like every successful trader I've talked to, they have years of income sitting in a bank. So they have no pressure about putting the bread on their table. Yes, day trading may be their only income. Sure. But they have years of income sitting in the bank. So if their day trading fails, they're okay. All right. And the mental release that they get from that and the peace allows them to follow a non-emotional day trading plan and allows them to trade more like a business and not like a gambler. Okay. All right. Build your identity on discipline, not flashy results or big risk wins. Okay. Don't YOLO. Don't FOMO. Don't revenge trade, stuff like that. Right. Build your trading identity on discipline. Okay. Excuse me. Recognize when trades are fueled by ego or wanting to prove something. I have caught myself in the back of my mind being like, if I can throw an extra couple cons on this, it'll look good when I post it. I've had those thoughts. Okay. I just try to capture those thoughts and go, no, I want to trade consistently. I want to trade my plan consistency and let the results speak for themselves. I'm not trying to be flashy. Okay. But I still deal with it. I still deal with the thoughts, right? I mean, sometimes our ego kicks in and it needs to be checked. Okay. You have nothing to prove. The only thing you need to prove to yourself is that you can follow a system. All right. Take the challenge, the 50 Trade Orb challenge. Go watch the other videos on it. Okay. Use money to gain freedom, not admiration. 100%. All right. So let's sum up chapter 8. Summary in one sentence here. People don't admire your possessions. They admire themselves with them, making status chasing a losing game. So don't focus on it anymore. Focus on the things that matter, right? Focus on finding a trading plan that works for you. Focus on the behavioral and psychology aspect of trading that allows you to follow that trade plan consistently, even in the red times, right? Take the Orb Challenge. Go watch the videos. Watch it change your day trading forever. All right, I'll see you guys in the Discord. Feel free to swing in and say hi. You can drop some comments down below, and I'll probably see you guys probably after the holidays. So see you in the next video.